there. So continuing my video diary of my experience as an apprentice at the Recording Connection. Since my last post, I had a few things not go as planned. Some unforeseen circumstances arise with regard to the recording studio where I was doing my apprenticeship. But thankfully, the Student Services Department at Recording Connection stepped in and did pretty much what it was supposed to do. As it turns out, right around the time the recording studio took me in as an apprentice, they also took on a brand new, huge, ongoing contract, which is great for them, but it affected their availability with the students that they have. And so when it came to my lessons, the studio was great. My mentor Jesse was great. I just couldn't get on the schedule very frequently. They just didn't have enough time to book me in for lessons. So when I mentioned to Student Services about this problem, their solution was to transfer me to another recording studio so I could get moving again. And so that happened fairly quickly. Got into a new studio, got another audio engineer named Tim to help me out. And so I'm started again. Now my new studio is smaller than the one I was at, but it's well built, and my new mentor Tim is very skilled in what he does. He has a national clientele, kind of specializes in indie rock and acoustic based recording, does a lot of live tracking. Since I was still early on with my lessons, the school basically did this as a reboot. So I got an extra lesson in which Tim and I basically reviewed the first two lessons from his perspective. And in this way, that actually gave me a little added bonus that a lot of students don't necessarily get, because I got the tour of two studios and not just one. I got to see and compare how two different studios had solved the same types of acoustical difficulties and problems. And this is significant because every audio engineer and every studio will tackle similar problems in a different manner. There's not one right way to solve a problem, and a lot of things are a matter of personal preference between audio engineers. So a lot of the principles are the same, but there's always a whole range of factors involved in how you build a studio, whether it has to do with budgeting or whether you build it from the ground up. The new studio that I'm at used to be a mechanic garage, for example. Another factor is where it sits in relationship to other buildings, to street traffic, outside noise, all that kind of thing. My first studio had a whole different set of issues to deal with as they built up their studio in an empty, I think it was a warehouse. But this studio that I'm at is right on the street, so they deal with a lot more street noise, low-end stuff, and they had to deal with some specifics regarding that to isolate incoming sounds. So it was really kind of a cool thing to see how this guy had set up his studio differently than the previous studio I was at, and why he made the decisions that he made. So I'm looking forward to moving on with my lessons, and so we'll talk to you next time.